Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, let's talk about 6 things avoidants don't realize they cherish until it's gone. Not every avoidant is like this, but often avoidants that are lower or younger in their healing journey, they may end up in this situation. To be honest, I think most avoidants have this situation at least once in their life, whether it's a romantic situation, whether it's a job, whether it's a family member, something like that, where they don't realize what it was and how much it mattered to them until it's gone. And so today, we're going to talk about it from a romantic concept to which, unfortunately, it might be things that you have done in that relationship, in that connection, that you no longer do simply because you are broken up with. You guys are no longer together. And then now they realize, now that you're gone, now that you guys are no longer together, but you have maybe even moved on. Or you at least want to know, is this something that at one point they will understand and appreciate? And we're going to talk about those things today. And the very first one, I think a lot of you guys might be a little bit surprised about this, but actually your emotional availability. The fact that you were emotional and you were able to be emotional and you didn't fight those feelings. This is very interesting because avoidants actually, from their own perspective, they are also emotionally available, but they are limited with their emotions. And your emotional availability looks different than theirs, right? Emotionally unavailable, I believe, from my perspective, is somebody who they have the emotions, but they don't have it at the moment. It's temporarily disguised or ceased by whatever interaction. Maybe they just had a really bad breakup, so they can't be available right away. But an avoidant, they give you their highest potential, but it's just not as much as yours. And so when they see that difference and contrast, actually, during the relationship, it can be very difficult for them, right? It can almost be annoying because they're like, I'm showing up and I'm giving. Why is yours more? I feel like a failure in comparison to you. So some of them might be like, I'm feeling too much like a failure, so I'm just going to get rid of whatever's making me feel like a failure. I'm going to leave this relationship because I can't stand seeing the fact that I'm not doing well emotionally comparison to my girlfriend or my boyfriend or whatever you are, right? And so actually, when you guys are no longer together, they actually realize how much they should have focused. And now they're starting to realize, wow, you being more emotional made me feel loved. I was so focused on my lack of who I was and my emotions of being a failure, I didn't even realize how much I liked that, right? Let's say a job was really frustrating to you and your boss was very difficult, but the salary was good. Maybe you have a hybrid situation, you have a good insurance package, whatever it is, right? But you're like, I can't stand this boss. I'm going to leave. And then you leave and you get another job, or you're just doing whatever you need to do and you realize, wait a second, I was so focused on how difficult my boss was. I didn't even realize all the stuff that job gave me. Really good money, close to my house. The commute was short, hybrid, pays well, and I had a great, benefits package. You only realize that sometimes when it's gone. It's the same thing with the relationship, right? They were so focused on that one thing, that they're a failure, that they're not when they're emotionally available, they're trying their absolute hardest and they feel like they're hitting a brick wall and you're just flowing with your emotions and you're happy and you're showing love and they can't do that. But they should have appreciated it instead of been so focused on their shortcomings, right? The next one is the fact that you were patient with them. You being patient with them from when they were in the relationship with you, they thought it was pressure. I'm not saying that you were pressuring them, okay? But they thought, oh, one day he or she's going to boil over. One day it's never going to be enough. Like they can't wait forever. One day it's going to boil over and they're going to yell at me and get mad at me and I'm never going to be enough. And so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave this relationship so I don't have to feel this way. You didn't even do anything. All you were doing is being patient. And later they start thinking, wait a second, that was an overreaction on my part. They were being patient with me. I was probably being difficult. And I'm so surprised that they dealt with me for so long. All I was thinking about was the fact that one day they're going to expect X, Y, and Z. They're going to get mad at me about something. But actually, they were just being patient. They were just appreciating me for who I was. And I wish I had that, right? That's usually how it feels like when they reflect on it. The next one is the fact that you fought for the relationship. When avoidants are deactivating, often fighting for a relationship just blows over their head. They don't really think about it. They're so focused on getting to that exit. They don't think about the value of the relationship. They're just thinking, I'm a failure. I can't do this. This is pressure. I'm doing wrong. I always make mistakes. All you're going to do is highlight all my mistakes. If you get close to me, you're going to think I'm wrong. You're going to try and fix me. You're going to try and change me. And I have to leave this feeling. I can't stay here. That's what you're going to do one day. That maybe you're doing that right now and I need to leave. And so they're so focused on that wound. They didn't even realize that they also left the person they loved. They also left the companion that knows them the best. They also left that daily person. They also left the person that was there when they bought a car and they didn't know what to do and you helped them. Whatever it is, they left all of that when they left you. And so what ends up happening is when you fought for the relationship, it means it bothers them even more because in their mind, they're like, if only I had just heard you, I wouldn't have done that. But it hits their wound of failure later because they're thinking, wait a second, you were fighting for the relationship. You could have stopped me, but I didn't let you, right? Not only are they mad that they left, but it's also even more annoying because they really were the one that left, right? Like they don't have anyone else to blame but themselves because you fought for the relationship. They didn't. They still bulldoze in their own direction. And that's very painful. That's very painful. And they cherish somebody who was fighting for not just a relationship, but for them. The next one is that you expected them to change in a positive way, meaning you saw their potential. Interesting enough, avoidants do really cherish this at one point because avoidants are so used to feeling like a failure. But it's actually very interesting because they feel like they're not good enough and at one point they're going to be reprimanded or hurt by it. But that's not actually what you were doing. They thought you were. But you expected them to change, but that doesn't mean you were going to leave them or you don't like them for who they are. You just wanted more from them. That's different than saying, I don't like this, you're wrong, fix this. That's not what was happening. I like you and I would like more from you. That's what's actually happening. And when they move far away from you, not all the time, some of them realize it before it's too late, but we're talking about the ones that only realize it when it's gone. They actually realize that they misinterpreted you. You wanted them to change because you saw their potential, because you like them, because you believe in them, because you don't think that they're a failure. In fact, you like them so much, you want more of them. That's what it really is. And they realize that. They do, eventually. The next one is that you expressed yourself in a way that they were unable to, similar to your emotional availability, but you would articulate things. Maybe you said, I love you, and they don't know how to, or they were uncomfortable. There's a part of them, I'm telling you this, and I know you might not believe me, but a lot of avoidants envy anxious, preoccupied, secure, and fearful avoidants that are able to say, I love you, or I like this. Some fearful avoidants can't do it either, but more if they lean anxious. A lot of them, anxious, preoccupied, fearful, leaning anxious, and secure, are able to express themselves how they feel. A lot of avoidants, they're going to say, I don't know, give me time, I'm not sure. And that is the truth. And they wish very much that they could do that. And the reason why they cherish that is because you could have taught them, they could have learned from you, but instead they were so intimidated by the fact that you could do that and they couldn't. And that means that they're a failure and they can't give you what you want. And so for them, they ran away from that. But later they think, wait, why did I run from such a good opportunity, from a potential, from the fact that this person did express they care about me? Why did I do that? And it's scary for them. It really is. And the next one is that when you apologize for your faults and you tried to make it work, they weren't paying attention to that. They were too busy thinking about, oh, all you want to do is pick on me. All you want to do is cause fights, whatever it is. And then when they reflect, they think, wait, you were so good to me. You apologized. You tried to make things work. And I'm the one that broke it off and ran away. And so let's summarize, and then we're going to wrap it up. The first one is your emotional availability. The next one is that you were patient. The third one is that you fought for the relationship. The fourth one is that you expected them to change in a positive way. The fifth one is that you expressed yourself in a way with clarity that they were unable to. And the sixth one is that you apologized and took accountability. I hope this video is helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.